Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mike's DVDs and Blu-rays collection. I'm Mike. Thanks for tuning in today, guys. Today's a pretty special episode. I'm going to cover one of my favorite directors of all time, and he goes way back to the beginnings of me getting into just seriously film, discovering what movies are really and stuff as a kid and stuff, and it's really, really cool. And the guy I'm talking about is Billy Wilder. And he had quite a career overall. He had quite a career in Hollywood starting in the 1930s as a writer for Paramount Pictures. I can't even talk. Anyways, he started as a writer. He came over from Germany, from Austria, in fact. And over there in Austria, he was a writer. He was a critic. He was a writer, movie writer. He wrote some plays, and he did a bunch of stuff. And at the outset of World War II, like a lot of people in Europe at the time, they made their way over here. Being that Billy Wilder was, I think he was Jewish. So the big, everyone was jumping ship because it was getting bad over there, and which was a good thing because he had a great career in Hollywood, and he's made some of the most famous, comedies out there, some of the most classic comedies ever made. And today, this episode is going to be part one because he's done a lot of movies. And if I was to go into all his movies right now, you would be here for an hour and a half easily. So I'm going to split this up into episodes. I'm not sure how many episodes yet. But this is part one, and we're going to talk about some of his early movies as a writer and then transitioning into a writer-director and some of his beginnings, basically. So let's get right to it, guys. This is a movie I picked up recently. I've seen it on TV a bunch of times, actually. And each time it's on, it's like I start watching it. And as I was watching it one day, I was like, I think this is one of the movies that Billy Wilder wrote. And, and I waited till the credits. Or no, I think I actually looked it up because you can just look it up on your phone now. And I found out, I was like, oh, yeah, that's Hold Back the Dawn. So this is a Arrow Academy Blu-ray release of Hold Back the Dawn. This was a movie that he wrote. Let's see, when did he do this? It says it came out in 1941. This was like the last movie he just wrote and didn't direct. This was a movie starring Charles Boyer, Olivia de Havilland, Paulette Goddard. It's also what's cool about it is it's directed by Mitchell Leeson, which he did a lot of good movies. Kind of unsung hero of late 30s and 40s movies, comedies and stuff. Really good stuff. But yeah, Billy Wilder teamed up with his writing partner at the time, Charles Brackett, and they wrote this story of basically Charles Boyer is trying to marry an American woman so he can get over into the country, so he can get out of, I think he's in Mexico. I'm not sure if he is from Mexico, or if he make his way up there, but he's trying to get over the border, and it's like, it's like if you think about what it's really like nowadays with the border issues and stuff. I mean, back then it was very quaint, or the movie shows it very quaint. It's just like, I think I just walked down the street and I'll go over to America. It's like it's just a hop skip. It's like, there it is, like it's that easy, But maybe it was easier back then to do such a thing. But to become a citizen, you have to marry, an American woman, a U.S. citizen. So he's got this plan. He's got like a couple of women that he's going to try to, do this with, Paulette Goddard, who's, was famously, she was married to Charlie Chaplin at this time, is a kind of a dance hall girl, kind of a slight floozy. She's got a heart of gold, but she them two had a deal to work out that, she was going to make a certain amount of money so she can go home, and she was going to take him with and everything. But it kind of gets interrupted when Olivia de Havilland is traveling down to Mexico one day with a small group of children, like in a small bus. And the bus breaks down, and she ends up having to stay overnight at the hotel that he's staying at. It's a popular hotel with a lot of people there. Everyone's got great these personalities and different stuff. But anyways, in staying there, she meets him. So at that point, he's like, yeah, I'm going to get her because she comes from a little bit of money, and he's basically going to use her. But as the movie goes on, they fall in love, and they truly fall in love with each other. And, you have that change of heart. The guy changes how he feels. Excuse me. And, but it's really good. What was I going to bring up? What was it the first part of this movie? Well, that's how it opens. The movie opens with Charles Boyer here in America. See, at one part in the movie, he runs away to America. He escapes. He goes through the line. They're shooting at him and everything. So he basically, somehow or another, he ends up on the Paramount studio lot. He sneaks into one of the studios, one of the buildings. He has this story that he wrote, the whole story, the whole thing, everything that happened, and he gives it to this movie director, and it's like, read my story, make a movie into it, do something. I want to sell this to you for some, or something. I'm going to sell this story to you. So it starts showing the director, which is played by the actual director of the movie, Mitchell Leeson. He starts reading the story, and of course, and you go, and it, zooms into flashback mode and how it all started, introduction of all the characters, and it's a lot of fun. It's a good movie to watch multiple times. It's got a lot of good actors. I mean, Paulette Goddard is really good in this movie. I mean, I don't think she ever really got her due in Hollywood. I mean, she was known as Charlie Chaplin's wife, from 1935 to mid-40s or whatever. She was in Modern Times and The Great Dictator, a few other movies and stuff, but she was really a decent actress, and it's a really good story. It's just a nice little movie. You know what I mean? It's a nice little story. It's kind of typical of Paramount at the time, of one of their comedies and stuff. It's kind of a comedy romance, I guess you could say, but really good. It's really good, and this has got some bonus stuff on here. It's got a newly filmed video appreciation by Jeff Andrew, the critic. It's got a career audio interview with Olivia de Havilland, recorded in 1971. It's got a radio adaptation of it and everything else, but it's really good. And this also has switchable art, has dual artwork on that. But there you go, guys. And I think that's available on another release of Blu-ray also, besides that one. Next up, we have another movie that Billy Wilder wrote. I believe this is the year before. Now, this is one of the first movies I saw of Billy Wilder. I mean, I think I had already started watching his early works back in the day. See, back in I want to say 1991, 92. My parents had Showtime and the movie channel, which were, they kind of came as a package. And in the early morning hours, just about every day, they would have all the old Paramount movies. They would have all the old, Marx Brothers, the W.C. Fields movies, just hundreds of Paramount comedies and stuff like that. So I got to see all these movies. They would show all the early Billy Wilder movies, his first movies and stuff like that. And Midnight was one of those. I believe I either saw it on Showtime or it was on AMC back in the day, because I think I went to my grandfather's house to watch it so I could tape it, because we didn't get AMC at that time when they showed only old movies. But anyways, the movie I'm talking about is from 1939, and it's called Midnight. And it's a wonderful comedy. It stars Claudette Colbert and Donna Michi. And I believe it also has, it has John Barrymore, Mary Astor, Monty Woolley. This is another teaming with Charles Brackett, and another teaming with Mitchell Leeson. So it's a great movie. It's really funny. It's just so, it's got so many great little twists and turns in it and stuff. It's a lot of fun. And Claudette Colbert is just she just has a wonderful screen charisma. It's like, it's so hard to not like her in a movie. You know what I mean? Even if she's in a not so great movie, it's like she shines through it all. You know, she's really that great of an actress and stuff. But yeah, Midnight is hilarious. It's basically it's a romantic comedy, of course. It begins when a penniless showgirl played by Colbert impersonates a Hungarian countess, and with the help of an aristocrat played by John Barrymore, quickly adapts to her new lifestyle. But can she stop herself from falling in love with yet another poor man played by Donna Michi? Charles Brackett, Billy Wilder and Charles Brackett wrote this, and it was hailed at the time as just one of the best light comedies ever caught by the camera. Motion Picture Daily says. But yeah, Donna Michi's great. Donna Michi's this taxi driver, and I believe it takes place in Paris, Hungary. Yeah, Hungary. But he's a taxi driver, and he's hilarious. He's so funny in this movie. There's some scenes between John Barrymore and Claudette Colbert and Donna Michi that are just hilarious. Just hilarious scenes. But yeah, Midnight's really good. I'm not sure if it's on Blu-ray. I have this Universal DVD release of it. But there you go, Midnight. Okay, guys, next up, this is the first film. This is the debut, directorial debut of Billy Wilder. This is a release from Arrow Academy also. It has a dual artwork on there, so you can flip it around. The movie I'm talking about is The Major and the Minor. This is a movie starring Ginger Rogers and Ray Milland. Came out in 1942. And man, I remember seeing this back around that time. It was on Showtime or something real early, and I would set my VCR. I was like a young teenager, and I would set the VCR for all these odd times they would come on. And I had quite a stack of movies. I had quite a few they showed. But yeah, this is a great movie. This is basically Ray Milland's like a captain or something, high-ranking officer that I think he's going to become like over a boys' cadet school or something. Like he's going to be a teacher or something like that. Well, anyways, he's on the train, and he's trying to get back to his fiance and his future father-in-law, which is his boss basically, and he runs into Ginger Rogers, who is trying to get back home, but she only has enough money for a half fare. So a half fare is like a children's price. So she goes and like fixes herself up and makes herself try to look real young, like she's a 12-year-old or something, so she can get on there. So she gets on the train. They end up meeting each other, and and before you know it, you know, she's with him the whole time. You know, she gets invited back to the fiance's house, and she meets all these people, and you know, by the end of the movie, of course, you know, they're going to fall in love, and you know, and you hope they fall in love because they make a great match, you know. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's, you know, it's really, you know, it's silly in concept, but it's really hilarious. It's really, really good. I have a soft spot for this movie because this was one of the probably one of the first Billy Wilder movies I ever saw, really. I mean, I really, you know, apart from movies like Some Like It Hot and stuff like that, I mean, this was really one of the first movies I saw of his, and it was like his first movie, so it was really weird. So there you go, Major and the Minor. Next up, we have the next movie that he would make, 1943's Five Graves to Cairo. This is a Kino release. This movie stars Franchot Tone, Ann Baxter, Akeem Tamaroff, and Eric von Stroheim. And it kind of takes place in, North Africa during, you know, when Rommel, the Nazi tank commander, and they're, you know, battling in North Africa at the time. Franchot Tone is a British soldier who was hiding out in a hotel when all of a sudden Eric von Stroheim and his whole crew of, you know, Nazis come in and everything, and it's a really good movie. I mean, what can I say? It's just has a lot of espionage, kind of like, you know, it's a more serious movie. I mean, this was made at the height of World War II, or at the height of World War II. But it's basically the sole survivor of a British tank crew, which is Franchot Tone, makes his way to this desolate desert town where he's given refuge by hotel owner Akeem Tamaroff and a French chambermaid played by Ann Baxter, who prepare and receive General Rommel, played by Stroheim, and his German staff. Posing as the hotel's waiter, he attempts to infiltrate Rommel's inner circle and report the general's plans to the Allies. This was co-written by Charles Brackett, and it's based on a play by Laszlo Brio, and it features top-notch cinematography by John F. Seitz. Basically, all it's got on here is a audio commentary by Joseph McBride. But it's a great movie. It's another one of those movies where, you know, I saw this a long time ago and had it just recorded on a VHS tape, and I never really had a proper edition of this, so I was really happy to finally upgrade to a Blu-ray. So there you go, Five Graves to Cairo. And supposedly it's one of Quentin Tarantino's top 10 favorite movies of all time. Next up, we have the wonderful movie from 1945, The Lost Weekend. This is awesome. We got the return of Ray Milland to Billy Wilder. It's got Jane Wyman in it also. This is a Eureka Masters of Cinema release. This is number 45, and this is a really nice edition. It's got some extra stuff on here. It's got a radio broadcast. It's got some video appreciations. So basically, Ray Milland is I think he used to be a business executive, advertising firm maybe or something, and he developed an alcoholic developed a drinking problem to where he's just a blackout drunk. He would go on benders and black out, and his brother tries to help him and pay him, give him only so much money, and his fiance is trying to stick by him and everything, and everyone feels sorry for him, and he's trying, but then when he's drinking, he's another person, and it shows a weekend in this man's life where he started drinking, and he's limited on money. He's a writer. That's what it is. And I think he ended up hawking his typewriter and all this stuff. So it kind of shows 48 hours in Ray Milland's life of just sheer desperate. He's a desperate character in this movie. I mean, it's famous for its special effects, like bats coming out of the wall and stuff like that. It's a really good movie. I rank this up there with Double Indemnity in Billy Wilder's movies. It's that good. It seems like that movie gets more talked about than this one. But this was made the year after Double Indemnity. But yeah, it's a great movie. If you've never seen it, check it out, please. It's really good. I believe I have this on Laserdisc also. But yeah, it has many copies. It's on DVD. There's some other Blu-ray copies of this, and it's been on Laserdisc and VHS over the time. But yeah, there you go, The Lost Weekend, which is really, really good movie, guys. Next up, this is probably one of Billy Wilder's most famous movies, and it's just one of the most famous Hollywood movies. So movies about Hollywood, Hollywood about Hollywood. This is 1950's Sunset Boulevard. This is the Paramount Blu-ray. Of course, I don't need to tell you too much about this, but this, the movie stars William Holden, Gloria Swanson, Erich von Stroheim. It's also got a good supporting role with Nancy Olson. She's really good in it. And actually, a very young Jack Webb is in it, who would later be Joe Friday on Dragnet. But it also has a lot of cameos by people like Cecil B. DeMille, Hedda Hopper, Buster Keaton is even in a small little scene. Really good movie. Again, another bona fide knocked out of the park hit by the writing team of Charles Brackett and Billy Wilder. I mean, they were unstoppable. Everything they wrote they were all classics. They were all just great movies. And actually, Charles Brackett produced this movie also. But yeah, this is a really good release. It's got over 2.5 hours of special bonus features. It's got trailers, all kinds of stuff. It's really nice for a basic release that they put out. It's almost got more stuff than say a Criterion release or something. But yeah, Sunset Boulevard. Wonderful. One of the best movies. I believe it won Best Picture that year, if I'm not mistaken. Not sure. Maybe it did. It was at least nominated anyways. But yeah, there you go. Sunset Boulevard. I mean, I could have a whole episode and just talk about Sunset Boulevard and cut it up into all the layers, because it has so much, especially just with the guest stars, the old silent stars that appear in there, because, what's her face? God, I'm forgetting. Gloria Swanson was, an actual silent film queen. Buster Keaton, the king of comedy. It has, Cecil B. DeMille, famous silent, director, and talkie director too. But okay, guys, and there's a scene where they're playing poker. And the last movie I'm going to show is a movie that was made in 1951. It was originally called The Big Carnival. In the rest of the world, in America, it's Ace in the Hole. And this is a Criterion Blu-ray edition, starring Kirk Douglas. And it's got a great cast of people in this. Porter Hall. This one was produced and directed by Billy Wilder, written by Billy Wilder, Walter Neiman, and Lester Samuels. So he kind of broke away from his typical writing partner. But yeah, this is a great addition. I mean, it's basically Kirk Douglas plays Chuck Tatum, an amoral newspaper reporter who washes up in a dead-end Albuquerque, New Mexico town, and happens upon the scoop of a lifetime and will do anything to keep getting the lurid headlines. Billy Wilder's follow-up to Sunset Boulevard is an even darker vision, a no-hold-barred expose of American media, of the American media's appetite for sensationalism that has only gotten worse and relevant in recent times. So yeah, this is a basically he's, Kirk Douglas is at the end of his rope. He's got problems with alcohol. He was once a top reporter in New York, and he's basically bummed around until he starts at this little newspaper, and he's out, basically looking for something when he comes upon this cave-in at a mine where a guy had went in to get some Mexican artifacts out of it, and the townspeople say it was cursed because it was a burial ground. So anyways, it turns literally into a carnival of stuff going on outside of it. I mean, he's holding everyone at bay with all the information. He's selling tips to other newspapers. He's got food vendors set up, t-shirts, carnival rides for the kids. He's got just a big show going on at the expense of the guy in the mine. So it's really like how desperate and horrible someone can get for money, for fame and stuff. So it's a really good movie. It's one that I haven't had in my collection until recently, and I got it. And I hadn't really seen it a lot. I think I've only seen it once before I bought it. But in rewatching it is really good. I mean, it's got so many good points to it. It's such a underrated little gem, that sits between Sunset Boulevard and I can't think of the next movie, but it kind of sits in there, and really people forget about it a little bit. But yeah, this is a great edition, Criterion Blu-ray. It's got 60% Perfect Man, portrait of a 1980 documentary on Billy Wilder. It's got an 84 interview with Kirk Douglas. And then it's got excerpt from the 86 American Film Institute salute to Billy Wilder. So it's got some really cool stuff on here. There's even a video afterward by filmmaker Spike Lee, which is pretty cool. He's a pretty big fan of this movie. So there you go, guys. That was first part of my Billy Wilder collection. I got a few more. Quite a few more to do. If I did all these at once, this would be an hour or more long. So yeah. So I hope you liked this first part. Give me a thumbs up if you did. Comment. Let me know what you thought about these movies. What's your opinions on these? And subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. Hit the bell for the notification so you're notified when I release a new episode. And until next time, guys, I'm Mike. Thanks for watching. Take it easy and be safe.